We're here with Justice Tripp from Trapped Under Ice. They're touring their new album, Big Kiss Goodnight. They're just about to play a show here in Perth at the Rosemount. How you doing, man? How's the tour been so far?
I'm great. The tour has been great. We just left the East Coast. We played some Brisbane shows, Byron, played Sydney, and then some surrounding cities like pretty close to Sydney. And now we're here in North Perth, like you said, the Rosemount. It's great to be here. I think we played this venue 2 years ago, and we all kind of discussed it, and I've never seen so many pretty girls at one show as I did last time we were here.
Really?
And I'm hoping that tonight, there's lots of pretty girls to look at.
Do your shows in Australia have like a different dynamic compared to European or US? Like in terms of like the crowds and just general atmosphere and whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like Australia is weird. What's weird to me is it's so far from the U.S., but it's so similar in a lot of ways. Yeah. I feel like a lot of people have the same mentalities and everything, except there's a lot less bands here, and there's a lot, the ratio of good bands to bad bands is a lot stronger in Australia. There's like very few bands, but all the bands are really good. And then because of that, because it's not like like so much of a surplus of bands, I feel like kids are less spoiled, and
definitely
people in the U.S. have like they have like almost like what I call European appreciation for hardcore music, but at the same time I think Australia is very similar to the U.S. in a lot of ways in people's mentalities and stuff. So it's like being really far from home, but not. It's very comfortable, as to where you go to certain countries and you lose a lot of your comforts, things that you're used to.
Okay, yeah.
I feel at home here. I can stay
I'm glad
forever.
to hear. That's cool. So the new album, Big Kiss Goodnight, it's got like a much more of a stronger punk rock kind of influence, if that's correct.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you think that's from? Is that be due to like having a new producer, Chad Gilbert from Newfound Glory, or is it just from maturing and touring and writing together as a single unit?
I think for us it was like even prior to working with Chad, we knew we wanted to go more in a punk rock direction. I think that's like one of the things that bothers me most about bands that I love, like as they progress and make new music, they kind of stray further away from their punk rock influences, and that's like really, when you get down to the roots of it, Trapped Under Ice is a punk rock group, we're a hard punk rock group, but it's like, I only want to grow closer to that, and we looked into the idea of getting Chad to produce the record because we knew he'd be good at helping us, do that as best as we can, and beyond that, just like he's a great songwriter. And there's a lot of things we've tried before in the past when writing music, that we never released, that never really came to a head. Like it's like there's more of like a rock and roll structure on a couple of the songs where it's like verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, or whatever. We never had 3 choruses in a song before, but that was something that he kind of taught us how to do better. Like he, without making it sound like forced. I feel like in the past when we tried that, it always sounded forced. And like I said, the songs never came to a head that we tried that with. But I don't know. There's lots of punk rock bands that like I've always tried to make more of an influence on Trapped Under Ice, and I feel like for some reason with this record it became easier for us. Like I love the Ramones. I always have written music influenced by the Ramones on some level, and I think it was kind of cool to see that kind of come to a head on this record, to where I think you can pick out a couple songs on the record and say, okay, I really do see the Ramones influence, or the Bad Brains, or even Minor Threat.
Did the writing process, was it different for this record compared to other ones? And do you keep a routine sort of when you're writing together? Or?
I think the most important thing is to not have a routine when writing music, and that's how music becomes like monotonous and predictable. We try, I feel like every song we take a different approach. We have songs where I had a vocal hook and I would come to Sam and I'd say, yo, I got this hook in my mind, and I would sing it, and then he would record it or whatever, and then like try to write guitar stuff around it. Or where Sam wrote a guitar riff, or where Brendan wrote a drum part, and we started with that, just trying to keep switching up the process. Like routine, it shows. When a band has routine for writing a song, I feel like it shows, and every song starts to sound alike. I would say definitely it's been received better than any record we've ever done, which was really cool. I thought, you know, there was definitely some things. I think like part of being in a punk rock band and being hardcore is taking risks. You got to do things that people don't want to hear you do. You got to do things outside the box, and that's easy to do when you first start as a band. When nobody's heard your band, you come right out of the gate, doing crazy shit. Well, that's cool. But then once people come to understand your band as a certain thing, they don't want you to change it up. People want you to just keep doing the same thing, and we're not ever going to keep doing the same thing. That's just not us. But there's a couple things we tried to do that were maybe a little riskier than anything we've done before, and I didn't know how it'd be perceived. And I think that it was, you know, people handled it well. People understood where we were coming from, and like I said, better response to any record we've done. I thought it was cool on the internet, like seeing a lot of like the people who've given us bad reviews and stuff like that in the past, and like, you know, just like your typical internet shit talker dude that I see on this message board and this message board. They kind of came out and were like, damn, I really respect this angle, you know, this approach.
How do you see the future of the hardcore scene? Like, do you think bands will keep pushing the boundaries of what hardcore is, or do you think it will just eventually just like keep getting recycled basically and
I mean,
dry out?
There definitely is like styles and sounds that get recycled, but I wouldn't say dried up. Like, it's like a lot of bands, like, you know, take a band like Suburban Scum from New Jersey. I don't know if you know them. It's some friends of mine.
I've heard of them.
Like, they're influenced by bands from the 90s, like, you know, like E-Town Concrete, maybe Furia 5, and, you know, a lot of bands from their area. But they've taken it and they've done something new with it. And as long as bands are progressing and doing new things, it's like that's what keeps it moving. You know, there's always going to be bands that are going to be influenced by Bad Brains, Minor Threat, Cro-Mags, and so on. But it's all about taking that and doing their own thing with it. And people are doing that right now. I think right now is a beautiful time for hardcore music because there's so many innovators right now. There's so many great bands, and it reminds me a lot of when I was getting into the hardcore scene. And, you know, I was maybe like, you know, 12, 13 years old when I was getting into hardcore music and starting to attend hardcore shows. And I feel like at that time there was so much diversity in music and everybody was really accepting of different sounds. And then for a long period of time, people had this very narrow view of what hardcore was, and I kind of hate that, you know? I think hardcore could be a million things. But I don't know. I think right now, like I said, people around here are Tripp.
Is there any Australian bands that you think are innovating hardcore at the moment?
Yeah, definitely. I say it every night on stage, and I genuinely mean it, that there's like so many great bands from Australia. I don't think I've heard one band from Australia that I was like, damn, this shit sucks, you know? We toured the US. There's a lot of great bands, like younger bands, but I feel like there's just so much bullshit, like so many bands that like really should spend more time practicing and trying to create something of their own before they go out and show it to everybody.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see your band practice on stage, but I feel like kids in Australia really get it down before they take the stage, and I love all the bands here. We're on tour with Relentless right now. I love them as people, and they're a great band. They're very cool. They're touring a lot and you know, doing a lot to represent Sydney and Australia in general. We all like shitty pop songs, like different types from different eras. I love Prince. I love Prince a lot, and we definitely have a couple songs where I listened to a Prince song and I was like, I want a song with a similar structure, and made it a hardcore song. And I don't think anybody would ever listen to it and hear Prince, but that's real. It's like, really, that's not some bullshit. It's not some shit I'm just talking to sound cool. Hello. Hello, dog.
Sorry.
It's Chad.
How are you guys doing?
Thanks for walking around the camera. Okay.
I mean, I feel like a lot of bands, especially like with metal, like fucking technical metal's popping off, all these fucking dummies were being like, oh yeah, we're like metal, jazz, influence, fusion. It's like, bitch, you never listen to jazz, shut up. You're talking
so
shit.
True.
It's like, but genuinely, like, yeah, it sounds stupid, but Prince and like, I don't know, R&B and all kind of shit influences Trapped and Rice musically.
From watching videos on the internet, I can see that you guys like to have a lot of fun and mess around a lot.
Yeah, that's right.
Who's like the biggest larrikin in the band? I'm suspecting Brendan.
Brendan, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Nail on the head.
Can you recall any past incidents or things that have happened that have just been funny?
I mean, he makes me like want to pee my pants every day.
Yeah.
The funniest person I know. I mean, like nobody in the band's normal. Everybody's like kind of silly. I wish there was like one Brendan thing that I could just.
Everyday kind of thing. He's just
every day. Every day he does the funniest thing. He has like characters he does. I think like He does like stuff that's like mildly embarrassing, but it's so funny you can't be mad. Like shit like we'll be at the airport. I feel like this happens every tour we do where we fly. Like the end of the tour, you feel like shit. Like you're wearing dirty clothes, you stink. We're like all have our sleeping bags out, sleeping on the floor, and then Brendan puts his hat out and starts dancing for change in the middle of the airport, or just like stupid shit like that, man.
That's good. It's good to have someone like that in the band.
Definitely keeps it fresh, keeps it fun, keeps me from losing my mind.
That's it, man. Thank you so much for chatting with me.
Thank you for having me.
Good luck with your tour. You're finishing here in Australia, and I think you're going straight to Europe, are you?
Yeah, we have one more show in New Zealand, and then we fly home for 4 days, and I'm probably gonna sleep for 4 days straight because we haven't really been sleeping in Australia at all. Y'all don't sleep here. It's kind of crazy, but you know, fuck it. There's so much cool shit to see. I don't really mind. We're not gonna do much sleeping until we get home. Then I have 4 days of sleep. We go to Europe with Your Demise, and then I can catch up on sleep after that, I guess.
I think you've got like Fluff Fest June, July, I think.
Yeah, that should be cool. I've been hearing good things.
All right, that's it, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, very cool. Thanks. What's up, y'all? This is Justice from Trapped in a Race. You're on the Pit FM.